This was the moment. May 9th, 1945. A group of black Miamians descend on whites-only Haulover Beach. Now, you may have heard of a sit-in where activists go to a lunch counter and take up space in order to fight for equality. Call this a wade-in. This is where folks entered the water and swam in order to desegregate a whites-only beach. Bystanders were sitting with their mouths agape. Something as simple as swimming created a political firestorm in Miami. Ira Davis, who was considered by some to be the mayor of Black Miami, his home was called the Little White House because it was such an important place of political activity in the city. You had people like Judge Henderson, a labor organizer who worked with the longshoremen. You had Lawson Thomas, who became the first judge in the South since Reconstruction and also a critical legal strategist. And you had John Comer, an appropriate leader for those looking to bring a sense of spirit into the challenge for civil rights, as well as Eugenia Bell. She was the head of the PTA, the first black woman to do so, and she eventually went on to marry Lawson Thomas, the two of them, again, making a tremendous impact across the city for years to come.
Judge Lawson Thomas is actually slated to have brought money to the wade-in and actually said for everybody who got arrested, we were ready to bail them out.
The wade-in at Haulover Beach was tense, but it was a peaceful exchange on both sides.
The county sheriff did not want to arrest him. There had been essentially negotiations that were going on and clearly did not want them arrested because it would potentially hurt tourism. Lawson Thomas knew how to both consult, negotiate, and then essentially have demonstrations. So he used a number of tools in his toolbox to get what he wanted.
County officials designated Virginia Key Beach as the first colored-only beach in all of South Florida. It's important to appreciate that colored-only was a marker of pride at this time. It helped to bring together folks from across the black diaspora. Picture it. As many as 300,000 people went to Virginia Key Beach every year. And in fact, on Easter Sunday, you could find as many as 5,000 people participating in pre-dawn religious services. It is important to see Virginia Key Beach as a spiritual, economic, and political foundation for all of Black Miami. It was also a place where Ebony magazine saw fit to highlight the benefits of black tourism. It was an extraordinary achievement. But this was not the first time that black folk could access the Atlantic Ocean. Go all the way back to the age of Dana A. Dorsey in the 19-teens. Dorsey was Miami's first black millionaire, and with his money, he bought Terminal Island, hoping to set up a black resort, a dancing pavilion, some kind of infrastructure for colored Miami to enjoy. But in the early 1920s, he ran into Carl Fisher, an aggressive real estate developer. Fisher bought Terminal Island from Dorsey, renamed it Fisher Island, which is now one of the most valuable stretches of real estate in all of Miami, and made sure that black folk could not get back on the island anytime in the foreseeable future.
African Americans were still there in the late 1920s, and in many ways, they were all over a lot of the islands for a number of years, but under the radar, so to speak, because they were not legally allowed to go swimming in Biscayne Bay.
In this memo from Carl Fisher, you can see that he didn't want African Americans on Fisher Island. He wrote, quote, "You can tell the Negroes if they can find some other place which they can fix up for themselves, we will donate some cash to help them fix up another place," unquote. Now, D.A. Dorsey came to South Florida by way of Georgia as part of Henry Flagler's crews building the Florida East Coast Railroad. There would be no Miami the way we know it today without the railroad. But it's also true that the railroad, in many respects, laid the color line for the very first time in the city. It helped to launch, for example, Colored Town or Overtown, which became a bustling economic and political center for the region. As this headline from the Miami Herald reads, Overtown was Black Wall Street and the Harlem of the South. In its heyday in the mid-20th century, the Central Negro District was really a magnet for black entertainers like Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, and Nat King Cole. In nearby Brownsville, you had the Hampton House Motel, where you could find Muhammad Ali or Malcolm X.
The Hampton House was a place where the leaders of Miami met on a regular basis to plan strategies to integrate Miami. It was where Dr. Martin Luther King stayed.
Virginia Key Beach is where you would find any number of luminaries from around the world who would come to Miami and stay. It was also where you found more homegrown institutions like the Black Police Force, established in the 1940s and headquartered in the Black downtown. Now, you may remember Ira Davis among the activists helping to create Virginia Key Beach. Well, his dental office, in fact, served as the first police precinct before this more modern one was built in its stead.
In 1944, we had our first 5 officers to join the force ever in Miami. They weren't given cars right away, right? They had bikes, so they patrolled on actual bicycles. So if they needed to bring in a suspect, they brought him in on the handlebars.
The Black Precinct's community policing, where folks of African descent would patrol their own neighborhood, was effective, to say the least.
It was a 200% decrease in crime. So it was that much of an impact on the community.
Virginia Key Beach was enjoyed by families as far away as Carver Ranches in Broward County, and as far south as Richmond Heights, 15 miles below the Black downtown on the peninsula. Richmond Heights, in particular, was an important marker of Black self-determination as well, because it was the place that Black World War II veterans could enjoy suburban housing for the very first time. During its heyday, Virginia Key Beach became a place for all to enjoy. But the effects of Jim Crow lingered. Garth Reeves, the famous newspaperman, describes how you had seaweed and riptides and really constant struggles with maintaining the integrity of the beachfront. He describes further wanting to go to white beaches when they finally opened up, when segregation's walls came tumbling down. There was also the lingering problem of economic inequality, and the city of Miami left the beach woefully underfunded until 1982, when it closed the beach completely. But how long would the key be closed? And who would come to its rescue?